There is an enormous global industry built around protein, an industry measured in trillions of dollars, and it survives by repeating one message over and over. Protein equals muscle. You are told to eat eggs, drink protein shakes, scoop powders into everything, and believe that these products are the only way to prevent age-related weakness. That narrative sounds scientific, it sounds urgent, and it sounds protective, but what it mostly protects is revenue. The darker truth behind this is that traditional protein sources are far less effective for aging bodies than you have been led to believe, and the problem becomes especially obvious after the age of 60. As the body ages, the ability to digest, absorb, and transport protein changes dramatically. It is not enough to simply eat protein. You also have to be able to use it. Clinical research has shown that older adults absorb barely more than half of the animal-based protein they consume, meaning that nearly half of what they eat never truly reaches the muscle tissue where repair and growth are supposed to happen. That excess protein does not automatically convert into strength. Much of it is wasted, and some of it creates metabolic stress the body still has to process. So while seniors are told to panic about not getting enough eggs or powders, quietly, a more important story exists. There are specific plant-based seeds that deliver complete protein in a form the body can actually use efficiently for recovery, strength retention, and muscle rebuilding. These seeds do not just contain protein for the sake of hitting a number on a nutrition label. They deliver protein alongside minerals, essential fatty acids, antioxidants, and signaling compounds that directly address the real root causes of muscle loss with age, a condition known as sarcopenia. Sarcopenia is not cosmetic. It is loss of function. It is the point where standing up from a chair becomes a struggle, or holding balance becomes scary, or catching yourself when you stumble is no longer guaranteed. This decline does not happen because older adults are lazy. It happens because the body has lost access to strength at the cellular level. By the age of 70, the average person has already lost a large share of their original muscle mass. By 80, many people literally cannot support their own body weight properly. That is not just aging. That is a biological system starved of the inputs it needs. Some of the most important data on this problem comes from nutrition studies on older adults who simply added the right seeds to their usual diet without relying on commercial shakes, powders, or high meat intake. The results were striking. Lean muscle mass increased, strength markers improved dramatically, inflammation dropped, and this happened in weeks, not years. We are talking about changes big enough to influence balance, grip, and basic physical control. Grip strength, in particular, is not a vanity metric. It predicts overall muscle health, mobility, fall risk, and even long-term survival. If you can no longer open a jar, carry grocery bags, pull yourself up from a sitting position, or stabilize yourself if you slip, your independence is already in danger whether you admit it or not. Strength loss is the first step toward relying on someone else for basic tasks. So the core question becomes this: why is nobody talking about these seed-based sources of muscle-preserving nutrition? The answer is as unromantic as it sounds. It is not profitable for the mainstream protein market if people shift away from products that can be bottled, branded, and locked behind a premium price point. The protein market depends on selling fear of muscle loss and then presenting egg white breakfasts, meat-heavy diets, or glossy tubs of powder as the antidote. But you are rarely told that these same products become less effective with age because the aging digestive system cannot use them efficiently without support. You are also rarely told that whole food seeds provide not just protein, but also the cofactors that make that protein usable. That last part is key. Protein without cofactors is just input. Protein with cofactors is building material. Those cofactors include things like magnesium for activation, zinc for hormonal support, iron for oxygen delivery, phosphorus for proper contraction, anti-inflammatory compounds that protect damaged fibers, and naturally occurring fatty acids that keep muscle tissue responsive to insulin so nutrients can actually enter the cells instead of floating uselessly in circulation. When you eat the right seeds, you are not just eating protein. You are delivering repair instructions to the body. One of the most underrated muscle-supporting foods in this category is the pumpkin seed. Pumpkin seeds are often thrown away casually without a second thought, but they are dense in muscle-building potential. A modest serving delivers more protein than a single egg, and unlike an egg, this protein includes all of the essential amino acids required for muscle tissue repair. That means the body does not have to struggle to assemble missing pieces. It receives a complete kit. In older adults, that completeness matters. It is not only that pumpkin seeds contain usable protein, it is that they pair that protein with magnesium in levels that are rare in common Western diets. Magnesium is not just a wellness buzzword. It is the mineral that opens the metaphorical door and lets protein into muscle cells where rebuilding can actually happen. Without enough magnesium, you can swallow protein all day long and still continue losing strength because the nutrients never make it into the muscle cells in the first place. Pumpkin seeds also offer zinc in amounts dramatically higher than eggs, and that zinc supports hormone production in aging bodies. After 60, hormone levels related to growth and tissue maintenance decline. That hormonal drop accelerates muscle loss unless you are actively feeding your body what it needs to counter it. The seeds also contain iron, which allows oxygen delivery to muscle fibers. Weak circulation equals weak tissue. If muscle tissue cannot get enough oxygen, it tires quickly, recovers slowly, and begins to degenerate. Phosphorus, present in pumpkin seeds, works with calcium to keep muscle contraction stable. Low phosphorus levels, which are common in seniors, produce shakiness and weakness even in people who are still actively exercising. So in pumpkin seeds alone, you have protein, muscle activation minerals, hormone support, oxygen support, contraction support, and anti-inflammatory compounds. For an older adult who wants to keep moving without fear of collapsing strength, that is enormous, and yet pumpkin seeds are only the beginning. Another extremely powerful option is hemp hearts, the soft inner part of the hemp seed. Hemp hearts are unusually efficient. They deliver high levels of complete protein per serving, and the body can absorb and use this protein with a speed and clarity that rivals or beats many traditional protein sources. In aging adults, this is a breakthrough because digestion gets slower and less predictable with time. Many forms of protein feel heavy, create bloating, or pass through without getting used effectively. Hemp has a kind of protein structure that mirrors what human muscle tissue already needs and already recognizes, so instead of fighting the digestive process, it cooperates with it. On top of that, hemp hearts support blood flow by providing amino acids that open blood vessels. Better circulation means better delivery of nutrients to the muscles and better removal of waste compounds that cause stiffness, pain, and fatigue. The result is that muscles feel less starved and more supplied. When muscles are fed well and cleared well, they perform better, they recover better, and they last longer. Hemp hearts also bring anti-inflammatory fatty acids that reduce soreness and cut recovery time, which matters for one important reason. Older adults tend to reduce physical activity when moving the body becomes painful. That inactivity speeds up muscle loss, which creates more weakness, which creates more inactivity in a loop. Breaking that loop depends on recovery. If your body hurts less after basic walking, climbing stairs, practicing balance drills, or light resistance work, you are more likely to keep doing it. Staying in motion is the key to keeping muscle, and keeping muscle is the key to staying independent. Another seed with a unique role in protecting aging muscle is chia. Chia seeds are sometimes dismissed as trendy, but that is because most people only look at them on the surface level and assume they are just fiber. The fiber in chia is absolutely important, but the part that matters for strength is how that fiber changes digestion speed. When chia absorbs liquid, it forms a gel. That gel slows down the release of nutrients in the stomach and small intestine. Why does that matter? Because instead of dumping amino acids into the bloodstream all at once in a short spike that the body cannot fully use, chia creates a slow-release stream of fuel for your muscles that lasts for hours. For an older adult, that extended feeding window helps fight muscle loss between meals. When muscles go long periods without usable amino acids, the body starts breaking down existing muscle for energy. That is one of the main reasons older adults lose muscle even if they are eating what looks like enough total protein. They are not feeding the muscles steadily. Chia protects against that by dragging out digestion in a controlled way and keeping the muscles supplied. Chia also supplies calcium in amounts that actually matter. Calcium is not just about bones. Muscles require calcium to contract properly, and low calcium intake leads to weakness, shakiness, and faster functional decline. Many older adults underconsume calcium or cannot tolerate dairy, so getting plant-based calcium that is easy to work with becomes extremely valuable. Chia also supports mitochondrial function. Mitochondria are the power factories inside muscle cells, and when they degrade with age, fatigue takes over. You feel drained after simple effort. You avoid movement, your world shrinks. Antioxidants in chia help defend those mitochondria against breakdown and keep your cells producing energy. That is real anti-aging for muscle tissue, not shallow marketing language. Next comes flax, which is especially interesting for hormonal reasons. Flax seeds, when ground, offer both protein and compounds that help rebalance hormone signaling that naturally shifts with age. As the body gets older, certain hormones involved in repair, growth, and recovery tend to decline, while other hormones that promote fat storage, tissue breakdown, and inflammation begin to dominate. Flax helps smooth out that imbalance. The fatty acids in flax keep muscle cell membranes flexible, which matters because if those membranes stiffen with age, nutrients cannot enter the muscle efficiently. Think of stiff muscle cells like doors that are swollen shut. You can knock all day with protein and nothing gets in. Flax helps keep those doors moving. Flax also supports recovery through anti-inflammatory action, supports the gut lining so you can actually absorb the nutrition you eat, and supports cellular repair by helping activate the very stem, like satellite cells that are responsible for muscle regeneration after stress. That is where genuine rebuilding happens. Even adults in their 60s and 70s can reactivate that repair pathway if they feed it correctly. Finally, there are black sesame seeds, which are often overlooked but deserve attention as one of the most advanced muscle-protecting foods available to older adults. Black sesame seeds contain protein, yes, but they also contain rare compounds that influence gene-level signaling in aging muscle. As you get older, your body starts expressing more genes that encourage muscle breakdown and fewer genes that promote maintenance and growth. This is part of why people assume muscle loss is just destiny. Black sesame seeds contain natural molecules that help flip that switch back in your favor. They support the genes involved in maintaining and building muscle tissue and dial down the genes involved in wasting it. That is extraordinary. On top of that, black sesame seeds deliver very high levels of minerals like calcium, magnesium, and copper in a combination that protects nerve function, supports clean muscle contraction, and slows the erosion of fast-twitch muscle fibers. Fast-twitch fibers are the ones you need for sudden movement, like catching yourself if you slip, getting out of a chair quickly, or preventing a fall. Those are the fibers that tend to disappear the fastest with age, and losing them is what turns a stumble into a dangerous fall instead of a momentary wobble you recover from. The protective compounds in black sesame seeds also defend muscle cells from oxidative stress, which is the slow internal damage that accumulates over decades and eventually causes tissue failure. You cannot fix that kind of damage with a single protein shake. You fix it with daily input that feeds the body not just calories, but signals, and that is the theme tying all of this together. The real fight against age-related muscle decline is not purely about shoving more protein into the body. It is about giving the body the full toolkit to keep muscle tissue alive, supplied, protected, oxygenated, and able to respond. Seeds deliver that toolkit in a way that is both dense and accessible. They bring bioavailable protein for immediate use. They bring minerals that act like keys and switches, turning on your ability to transport that protein into the muscle and keep that muscle functioning. They bring circulation support, hormone support, oxidative stress protection, inflammation reduction, and digestive support. No commercial protein powder on a store shelf comes pre-packaged with that entire matrix, unless it is artificially fortified to imitate what nature already did. There is another crucial detail. Many of these seeds work even if you are not doing heavy gym-style training. You do not have to be in a weight room 5 days a week to benefit. The studies on older adults consuming these seeds showed improvements in measurable strength, grip control, lean tissue maintenance, and inflammation reduction with minimal or even no structured exercise changes. Of course, movement still matters and always will, but the point is that the nutritional input alone already generated meaningful physical benefit. That matters for people who are recovering from surgeries, dealing with joint discomfort, living with balance anxiety, or simply intimidated by the idea of formal workouts. You are not powerless if you are not lifting dumbbells. You still have leverage through what you feed your body. The honest path forward is this: stop thinking about protein as a single nutrient in isolation. Start thinking in terms of usable protein plus delivery system plus recovery environment. Pumpkin seeds, hemp hearts, chia seeds, ground flax seeds, and black sesame seeds together represent a direct answer to the real causes of age-related muscle loss. They address hormonal decline. They address inflammation. They address circulation. They address mineral deficiencies. They address mitochondrial decay. They support sleep quality. They stabilize energy. They extend nutrient delivery through the day. They protect fast-twitch fibers that keep you upright and safe. They feed the gut bacteria that improve absorption, so you are not just eating nutrients, you are actually keeping them. You do not need hype to understand why that matters. You just need to look at what happens to people when they lose the ability to get up unassisted, carry their own weight, or stop themselves from falling. Independence leaves, confidence leaves, dignity leaves, the ability to live on your own terms leaves. Your body has been trying to keep you strong for decades. Giving it these foods is not some magic hack. It is simply finally supplying the biology that aging muscle has been quietly begging you for all along.